Jetstream Aqua Massage, located in the Heritage Mall, is your answer for the relaxation you've been looking for. Our massage beds will help you with stress, anxiety, increase circulation, muscle tension, improve sleep, pain reduction, decrease muscle spasms, increase your range of motion, and help with the everyday aches and pains of life. And at only $1 per minute, we'll save you time and money. 20 minutes in one of our machines is equal to 1 hour of traditional massage. We have gift certificates available for the perfect stocking stuffers. All TENS units are on sale now, and don't forget your BioFreeze. Jetstream Aqua Massage. It's not just a massage, it's an experience.
You're listening to Driver Live from the Northwest Race Car Show, presented by Moxie Media Promotions and Jetstream Aqua Massage, live on Spreaker Radio. Day number 2 here at the Northwest Race Car Show, presented by Jetstream Aqua Massage and Moxie Media Promotions. We are going to go Driver Live, segment number 1 of the day. Mike Medel and the number 30M out of Medford made the long tow. About 3 hours, right?
Yeah, it was a little over 3 hours, something like that.
Well,
yeah.
Given the weather.
it wasn't too bad, but it looks a little worse today.
It's not nice out there, absolutely. So, Mike, we don't see you up here a lot in our area as far as Willamette, Cottage Grove, Sunset. And, you're more of a Southern Oregon guy. You're the 2015 track champion.
Yeah, and I think I ran 7 races at Cottage Grove last year. Probably do that or a little more this year.
Yeah.
And then I think we ran a couple 2-3 at Sunset.
Well, we got to get you up to Willamette, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, we'll be out there for the Wild West Tour.
Okay, so Southern Oregon Speedway, you're the guy down there, and in 2015 was the track champion, right?
Yes.
And then last year, state champion for the Sport Mods?
Yes.
So very successful. I'll tell you right now, here at this show, we've got a lot of race cars in this mall. One of the cars that everybody is talking about right now is this number 30M that you brought. Beautiful race car.
Thanks a lot.
That is the best-looking sport mod I've ever seen.
Ever. Anywhere at any time.
We saw hundreds of cars down in Vegas at the Duel in the Desert, and there was
nothing.
I don't even think there's anything that compared with this.
Nothing.
This is a beautiful car.
Well, you want to talk about a race car that's done right, this is the way you do it. If you guys want an example to see how the race cars are done right and you want to strive to have an A-game program, come look at this 30M car because it is meticulously put together. I mean, spotless. That's a beautiful ride right there, buddy.
I'm sitting here, and we've been doing all these Driver Live interviews right here from the center court here at the Heritage Mall, right across from the 30M. And last night I found, I'm not, Mike, I hope you don't get offended by this, but I went over there and admiring your car, and I kind of had to peek under her skirt a little bit and look at what was underneath it. And I'll tell you what, that car, that's a good race car. There's some high-quality parts on that race car.
We've been having to keep the competition away from there as well. They've been over there trying to crawl underneath it, and we had to call security a couple of times.
Mike, I've actually got photos of a guy underneath your car, laying underneath your car, looking how things are. I'll show you the photo on my phone. I'm not kidding you.
That's actually awesome.
But let's talk
Admired by all.
Yeah, it's one of the cars everybody's talking about. I mean, not just is it the eye candy, the wrap, and just a good-looking race car, and the craftsmanship and the tin, but the entire car, front to back, is just that's how all race cars should be. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
thank you. I really can't take all the credit. I can't take really most of it, except for the guy that actually paid for it. But finally got to a point. Actually bought the chassis and body out in Boone from Kevin Shaw.
Okay.
And then Fred Ryland and Brian Zachary down in at Ryland Racing actually assembled the car and put it together and gave me advice on what parts to put in it and to get there. And then I can thank Race Print out of Corvallis to put all the bells and whistles on it and make her look pretty.
Absolutely, and they do great work. From T-shirts to hats to the wraps. I mean, they do a good job. Southern Oregon Speedway. Let's talk about that down there because you guys are this sport mod thing is really starting to take off in the state of Oregon, and you guys have got some good competition down there at that track.
Oh yeah. I got my biggest is Jordan Broughton, who is the current state champion. He won state championship in 2014, and he won Southern Oregon Speedway championship in 2015 when I got the state championship.
So you guys have kind of flip-flopped the roles in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and he's actually my racer buddy. So we traveled together. In fact, his dad, Donnie Bratton, helped me do the whole wrap over this last week and then this week and got it all together. And they'll come over and help me scale the cars and that kind of stuff. And they're really knowledgeable guys.
Very cool. Now, Southern Oregon Speedway, what's the typical car count for your sport mods? I know it's getting bigger every year, but...
Yeah, we have probably 20 cars. Generally, we'll have 12 to 15 that show up on a given night. We have a new promoter, Mike McCann, who's taken over. He's from up in this area.
Mike's been around the game a long time. He used to have Cottage Grove, then he had Sunset for a while, and kind of got out of it. Now he's back down there at Southern Oregon. I think that'll be a good thing for your racetrack.
Yeah, and then we're really happy to have him, and we can tell he's doing his best and working real hard and trying to make the whole process run.
Well, he's kind of got a chore ahead of him with that, because it was kind of, I know some promoters down there didn't do that track any justice for the last couple of years, and I think Mike McCann at least get it pointed in the right direction and start bringing it back to where Medford's got a pretty rich history.
Right, there's a little rebuilding going on, towards the end of the lease with John Skinner, who did a great job, and we can thank him for even having that track. But towards the end there, he kind of lost interest again. Then had several other promoters that, some were good, some days were good, and some days were bad. You got to take it as it comes.
Is Skinner still involved in that track at all, other than the big race?
He's involved a little bit with the concessions, and then the Lawn Skinner is his baby,
right?
So,
and that's a race that draws a lot of cars for you guys.
That one's a good one. That one's fun. We get a lot of guys coming up from Marysville and Chico and Antioch and all those places.
Yeah.
So I think we had about 35 cars, sport mods.
That's
show
great.
up, and they're all heavy hitters: Fred Ryland, Brian Cooper, Howard Law, Jimmy Ford.
Yeah.
Just Philip Shelby. I mean, Jerry, Mr. Controversy. I mean, just guys that are just on their game. So if you want to get better, you got to race against the best.
That's absolute truth. Absolute truth right there. So what are we doing in 2017? What's your program and your schedule look like for the 2017 season?
I've got about 34 to 36 races scheduled so far, not counting rainouts. So we'll be running, mostly at Southern Oregon, and then probably second at Cottage Grove. Hit the Sunset the few times that we can. I think I have like 2 or 3 scheduled up there. We're going to hit the Wild West Tour, which we've been super happy about. Cool. We finally got Jerry Schramm to put us on board, and he took a chance. And
I
so
think
we're
that'll
do
be
what
a
we
hit.
can.
Oh, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
The sport mods backing up the mods on the Wild West Tour is going to be. I think that's a great move.
And look at what happened with them bringing the X mods into the Wild West Shootout this last season. That is some of the best racing I think we saw in a modified down there at the Shootout was the X mods, which is essentially the sport mods.
Right. And we talked about that a little bit last night on one of the Driver Live segments. Warren and I were down at the Bud Nationals this year at Bakersfield, and the best race of the entire weekend was night number 2 with the sport mods. We actually had a battle for the lead with sport mods that were 4 wide all the way around the track for 7 consecutive laps for the lead. And then the fans were just losing their minds over it. I mean, anybody that hasn't seen sport mods or, you can't look at that division as a lesser division, because the action they provide is just as good as any division you're going to find anywhere else. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It's just as good as late models or, the A mods, whatever you want. I mean, the racing these guys provide and the way these cars are put together and the rules packages, you got to worry about being beat by another driver.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, some other tracks it's the same way, but at least at Southern Oregon, it's kind of like the sport mods are one big family. We all park together. We all work on each other's cars. Guys will come over, not got a setup. We'll help them any which way we can. And it's it comes out to be really good, tight racing.
That's awesome. That's the way it should be. Drivers helping or teams helping teams. And putting on a good show for the fans. That's what it's all about, and having a good time. Hey, just real quick, can you explain to the people listening what the difference and to me, because I don't know, the difference between on the rules for an A mod and a sport mod, B mod? What are the differences? Are they big differences, or just tires, or what are the differences?
Well, the tires are actually exactly the same. Visually, but the easiest way to tell a sport mod from a mod is the sail panel. Our sail panel stops short, and we have a spoilers. Theirs go all the way to the back of the car.
Right. And
then their motor is a difference. They got a 4-barrel carburetor on theirs. Their crate, I think, is a little bit different. I run an open motor, so I'm just a 355 9-to-1 with a 2-barrel carburetor.
But it has to be a 2-barrel in the sport mods.
On the open motor. Now
I see.
Yeah, now the crate can run a 4-barrel, but they have to run a 6,200 RPM chip. So that kind of, they got the 4-barrel, but then their gear, they're really limited on their gear because they're always running all over their chip.
Right.
Where they can spin 6,200 RPM. My happy place is about 6,900 RPM. So even though I've got the 2-barrel, I can mess with gear to where they can't. So
Right.
it kind of balances out the 4-barrel thing. And then we can only run forward 9-inch rear ends. Ours is a 3-bar, where theirs is a 4-bar with the bird cages and a J-bar. We have to run a panhard bar.
Okay.
But pretty much that's kind of about it. We run the same tire, and actually on dry slick, I think Cottage Grove last year was a super dry night, super dry. And with all the times with the Sport Mods and the A Mods of both classes, I was 7th fast. Including overall with
Nice.
the A-Mods, and my buddy Jordan, I think he was 3rd fast.
Wow.
And that just goes to show, we've talked about, how important setup is on a dry slick. It's not about horsepower. You have all the horsepower in the world on a dry slick track, it doesn't matter. The setup's got to be there, and you got to have talent in the cockpit, and you'll see that on a dry slick track. You'll find out
homework.
who can and can't drive. Yeah.
Oh,
But we all like the big horsepower.
Everybody
we all
likes
love
it,
that.
but I mean,
I love it.
Prime example of horsepower versus setup is you go back to the old outlaw days of Willamette Speedway when Bob Jeffrey came out with the V6.
With the V6,
and
yeah.
won 18 of 22 races in the Open Comp Late models. He's got a V6 running against 410 sprint car engines, fuel-injected alcohol motors, and he dominated with that little motor. I'm not a horsepower guy. I really am. I'm not. I'm all about setup, and with these cars, I think they're a little more technical as far as getting the cars balanced and get them set up to make them that fast.
Right, yeah, we have a little bit less to work with, but also because they're so simple. Those 4-bar, and one of the things I see a flyer for the Brookshaw Racing School.
Are you going to be there?
Here. No, I went to the one in Merced.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't say enough about that school. Learned a ton.
Yes.
And that's the homework part. But, they covered the 4-bar stuff, and I was upside down and sideways. And I'm like, oh, wait, I just want to learn the 3-bar stuff right now.
One bar at a
Baby
time.
steps, you know what I mean?
And with a 4-bar car, like you're saying, and I've seen it a million times, and I know you guys have too.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many people, drivers and crew chiefs, get out of the car and start talking and outthink themselves. Just
You can get lost.
You
happens
can.
on
And
any
if
of
you
them.
don't understand a 4-bar car, you get lost really easy. And
Well, you think about a 4-bar car, you've got 8 points where you can change bar angle,
Right.
plus you have
Versus 6.
versus 6, really. That's true.
Right.
yeah,
Plus you've got the J bar,
right.
where Mike's running a panhard
Right.
bar, so that's equal. But then you start talking lift arms, and you start
Right.
talking pull bars, 90-10s.
Yep.
You eliminate all that nonsense with a 3-link, and
And these cars, like you said, can be every bit as fast as those cars under the right track conditions.
and
Yeah,
really
we're all on the same tire.
Exactly.
That's it. That's exactly
it's
it.
about
right there.
putting the power to the ground. So what's the point of having 1,000 horse if you can't get it to hook up on a dry slick surface? It's all right foot.
It's all-
Personally, I like the horsepower.
Who doesn't love horsepower?
Everybody loves horsepower, but I think there's times it just doesn't matter. I mean, if it's August and it's 104 degrees outside, and you got a guy that's got 600 horse and you've got 900, there's no difference. You're not even going to use all 600 horse.
That's true. I mean, in fact, I think it was in 14. I was having this motor built, and I had blown up one motor, and I was kind of stuck. And a buddy at work had a 350 sitting in the shop for like 14 years. I gave him $300, and it was towards the summer, so it was dry. And I won 7 races with that motor, and all I could do was just flat-foot
Just hold it down.
hold it
yeah.
down, and all the big motor guys and even the crates, and I was just killing them, and I was just doing everything I could just to go.
I love it. I like hearing that. That's cool. So, how did you get your start in racing, Mike?
Actually, as a neighbor of ours used to watch, I have 2 daughters, and this was way back when they were little. My youngest is fixing to graduate from Berkeley here in May.
Wow.
But her husband raced dirt cars. We call them pro stocks. It seems real similar to the super stocks or whatever. These ones that run at Willamette are real similar to those. And I started pitting for him, and went out and ran a pitman race. And
It was over.
That was it.
Worst decision you ever made.
Exactly.
Most costly, anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, but and that was back in what year was that?
That was like 97 or so.
Okay.
I'm actually the number 30 car. I was going to be the 28 because I'm a big Ernie Irvin fan.
Okay.
And Mark Waggy already had the 28
Right,
in
yeah.
the Pro Stocks, and they happened to be his last year in Pro Stocks. And I had no plan B. I was like, I didn't know what number. I never thought of not getting that number. I was 30 years old, and I was like, okay, I'll be 30. And I turned 49 last month.
So you've been around the game.
You really want to keep track of the years, don't you?
Oh, man. I don't care.
No, that's
49
awesome.
going on 19. So.
Yeah,
I
I think we all are here.
Yeah.